Welcome to the wrap up episode of the 100 Songs Project. This was a project I started almost exactly a year ago. It was about a year ago, I guess. 100 episodes. I released one every Wednesday and every Sunday for about the past year. So that would be about, I guess, 50 weeks. And it was an ambitious project because while I was excited about it at the beginning, I liked the idea and the concept, taking 100 songs that I like a lot from 100 different bands, putting them all on a wheel to randomize the order, and then just doing a dive into each one of them, talking a bit about the song, about the band, and then any experience I had seeing them or sometimes even meeting people at shows, things like that. And it was ambitious in that if I started to do it, I really was going to be determined to finish it, even if I didn't want to. And I gotta say, it's a bit of a relief to be finished because the twice a week recording and putting them together continuously, is a bit of a chore. It's a bit of work, and this isn't like a highly polished, highly produced, highly edited video series either. I watch a lot of YouTube videos, and people spend a lot of time on the production. This is a really kind of low budget, fairly low effort in terms technology wise, but it's still quite a bit to do. Downloading, all the album covers, identifying lyrics that I want to cover, and I put them at the top of the screen. Doing the research for each of the episodes, and then finding time and space to record. I'm right off my living room here, so my family's around, and I got to do it kind of odd times sometimes. And then, the notes part, the research was not extensive, but I took tons of notes. Here's one of my notebooks. So every episode, I would go look up information, write it down, times 100. And then the editing process. So I would record it, and then I would use some really basic editing software to put it together. I did all these in one cut. There were some occasions where I got deep into the episode, and then I needed to stop because I said something or did something, or I don't know. I would stop, and I was kind of pot committed to the episode, so I would edit out part of it. And when you watch YouTubers like that are really good YouTubers, you'll see there's like dozens of cuts. They don't allow a lot of ums and they don't allow a lot of extra. It's just bam, 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 bam. The low attention span audience out there. My videos are uncut. They're just one big long. And I know there are some that I follow that do the same format. They're just a lot better at it than I am. I just go for it conversationally, as if I were sitting here with somebody at a restaurant or something, talking about music. And I wasn't too concerned about the awkward pauses like that one or anything really. Just kind of took it and did what I could with a lot of times it was one take. Sometimes I would get going and it started terribly, so I would start over. It's pretty easy to start over when you're 30 seconds in. Did a couple of blooper reels and short blooper episodes. I put those up. And I could have done a lot more of those. But after about 50, 60, 70 episodes, I didn't have a lot of bloopers, some false starts and stuff, but not a lot of bloopers. I do have a few stats to share. I didn't have much of an audience. As of this recording, 20 subscribers. I think my kids are each a subscriber. So there's not a lot of subscribers, not a lot of views. I had a few videos that had a few hundred views and things like that. But the one of the things I thought about was I put this list together to do this, and then afterward it made me kind of wonder, well, what decade are a lot, if you just take 100 songs that I really like, what decades do they fall in? Essentially, what is my favorite decade for music? And this is the stats I got. The 60s, 4% of the songs. There's 100 songs, so the math was super easy here. 70s, 11%. The 80s, only 10%. And then the 90s, which was the most of the songs, not most, but the highest percentage, 34% from the 90s. The 2000s, 30%. So between the 90s and the 2000s, 64%. So that's the biggest grouping right there. 2010s, 8%. And then 2020s, we're not even halfway through the 2020s. So, but only 3% there. Only 3 songs from the 2020s. Another stat that's not that interesting, but I made note of it because I made a Spotify list of my 100 songs. And there were only 6, so 6 of the songs were not on Spotify at all. And people always say, well, pretty much everything's on Spotify. Pretty much, I guess, but there were 6 on my list that were not on Spotify. There were even a couple that weren't on YouTube. So that's kind of interesting. Does it bother me that I did get very many views or the channel didn't take off or anything? No, not at all. I didn't think it would. I'm not particularly interesting. I don't have a lot of the qualities I think people want of a YouTuber, and I'm not especially dynamic. I kind of plod through some of these episodes, a sort of monotone voice and delivery. So I get it. I don't fancy myself a talent, so it doesn't surprise me. I don't know that this format really works either, and I have seen some YouTubers that do album reviews and music reviews, and they're wildly successful, very prolific usually. And this is kind of a different sort of format. And again, I'm not these other people that are really good at doing what they do. I think if I did another series, it would probably be incrementally better. There are definitely some things I would do differently. There's a few things I would do differently. I'd probably do a bit more editing. Probably keep things a little more succinct. But there's a bit of a grind doing 2 of these a week with everything else that I have in my life. So I kind of made it more about the hobby of doing it than trying to overdo it with building an audience in mind. Plus, there's a lot of things to do if you're a content creator to build an audience. And I don't pay attention to any of that kind of stuff. I have no delusions or plans or this. I knew this wasn't going to go anywhere. Sincerely knew it wasn't going to go anywhere, and I was also totally okay with it. I really enjoyed the process. that's why I did it. And a lot of just a bunch of creative things that I do to do them for the process, and it's a hobby, really, and they just so happen to be things like this. And why put it on YouTube then if it's a hobby? Because it's like wanting to have something to show for it, or have an end result that I can look at and go, oh, there it is, versus just talking to the wall. I know that's not really the same thing, but I did really enjoy the process. I'd do it again, and I probably will continue to do videos on this channel. Got 100 episodes down with under that format. I think moving forward, I'll do some other music topics, maybe based on a couple ideas. Is if I go to a concert, maybe talk about the concert a little bit that I go to. I go to, a handful a year. I don't go to as many shows as I would like to go to. I've been to a few, hundreds over my lifetime, but I don't go to as many now as I used to. But that's something that would be, a quick video. And then when new music comes out from bands that I really like, maybe a quick review or thought on those. And then maybe some other sort of top 10 lists or something like that. So I might pop in once in a while and post something just to keep the process going. I do enjoy this, like I said, and I had a good time putting all this together and putting it all out there. And that's about it. That's all I wanted to do. Just a little debrief and a wrap up of this series. And, to the hundreds of people that tuned in and watched anywhere from 5 seconds to 10 minutes to a few hours. Appreciate it, I guess. Just because it's nice to connect with people in music. I do appreciate that. And one of the other reasons I wanted to put this out there, outside of just the process of doing it, and I learned a lot too doing the research part. I kind of figured I would. The other part is I like connecting through music. I think that's one of the best and most important parts of music. Is a lot of things. I think I may have said this in the introduction. I don't remember. It was a year ago, but there are a lot of things that divide us, and there's a lot of things that are different about us that we unnecessarily focus on. And music's something that brings us together. It's why I love going to concerts, going to shows. You're with people from all walks of life, but you have this really powerful thing in common, and you're there together experiencing something that you're not experiencing with anybody else except for the people in that room that night. And to me, that's really special. And the online music community is a lot like any other online community, but I love it because it's focused on my favorite thing, which is music. And I love hearing about people's thoughts about music, and particularly like how people discuss how important and impactful music is in their lives, as it is for me. And that's a great human thing to have in common. And I'll end with that. Have a good one. Listen to some music. Go to a show. Take care.